The first assumption of geology is the assumption of original horizontality. Now this here is the tintic quartzite. It's a somewhat metamorphosed sandstone, and as you can see, it's almost vertical. The law of original horizontality states that when this was originally laid down as sand, it did so horizontally as gravity pulled it down that way. The second assumption of geology is the principle of lateral continuity. It's the assumption that material coming off of a source, sand, silt, whatever, is going to go until it fills up the entire basin. That allows us to understand that if I find a layer of rock here in one part of Utah, and I find a very similar layer of rock in another part, it can be the same layer of rock. We don't need the connecting in between parts. It is laterally continuous from here all the way till its end. So here we are back at the tintic quartzite again, and this is a good example of the third assumption of geology, the assumption of superposition. According to the assumption, when sand, in this case, is originally laid down, you have the older ones on the bottom, the newer ones on top. You can't squeeze a layer of rock below an already existing layer. How would you get the sand in between? So it's a good assumption again, and it follows logic. So the fourth assumption of geology is the principle of cross-cutting relationships. This is a great example here at the Wasatch Fault. It's hard to see just in a little picture frame, but what we've got here is the fault running this way through multiple layers of rock. The fault had to come after the layers of rock were formed. You can't fault something if there's nothing there to fault. So anything that crosses through multiple layers of rock has to come after the layers of rock were first put down. And that's known as the principle of cross-cutting relationships.